MTG Joe here, back with another budget deck. So I'm just going to wrap up this budget series while we wait for the ladder to reset, and then we'll play some more ranked matches. Currently 900, like very low 900s with 4 days left, so trying to finish the top 1200. So what we've been doing is a budget list for Arena for each of the monocolored strategies. So for the other four that we've done thus far, it's all been around a devotion strategy built around the god for the respective guild. This particular one is a budget mono red list. So all our budget lists tend to have 10 rares or mythics combined for them. Everything else between the main board and sideboard is uncommons or commons. So it's a good starting point if you're looking to play a certain strategy on Arena. And what I try to do is focus on cards either that'll be used in multiple decks or would be used in the fully tuned version. So you're not necessarily throwing away wild cards if this is something you want to play. So unlike the other gods, Perforos doesn't really work well in these mono red aggro strategies. One, it's a 5-drop. Two, it cares about cheating in very high mana creature costs. We're playing a lot of cheap creatures that look to punish your opponent for stumbling and being very aggressive. So we're actually playing against the Demigod. So this is Anax, Hardened in the Forge. So this is a 3-mana legendary enchantment creature. So its power is equal to your devotion to red. Whenever Anax or another creature you control dies, you get to create a 1/1 Satyr. With this creature can't block. And then if the creature had 4 power or greater, you get 2 tokens instead. So this is a good way to insulate us against removal. It's fine if multiples die. They see each other when they come into play. So it by default has 4 devotion, so the number of red casting costs. So it would trigger twice. So then you would get 4 tokens. So the rest of the deck, walking you through, we're basically an aggro deck, meaning we're trying to be as aggressive as possible. So we have a number of 1-drops. We have Grim Initiate. So this would usually take the place of... if you have Fervent Champions, play Fervent Champion instead. The haste and first strike's more relevant. But in the budget build, Grim Initiate's basically a 1-mana, 1/1 first striker that when it dies, you get a 1/1 zombie. Scorch Spitter, when it attacks, it triggers and it deals damage. Tin Street Dodger is a hasty 1/1 that can give pseudo unblockable. Some shocks. Rimrock Knight's a way we can have some kind of cheeky strategy with the first strike. You can put the damage on the stack, but it's also some additional reach, and then it's a 3/1 body, so nice aggressive stats. Runaway Steam-Kin is what we're using 4 rares on. This is kind of an engine card, hence the Steam-Kin. So whenever we cast a red spell, we get to put a counter on Steam-Kin. And then you can remove 3 counters to add 3 mana. So it's kind of a way you can play multiple things and make it really big. Worst case, it's a 2-mana 4/4 that you're smashing in each time. 2 of the other rares, and if you have more of them, play these cards. Phoenix of Ash is a new card from Theros. So it's a 3-mana 2/2 flying haste. So this is pretty traditional for these Phoenix style cards. You usually have a 3-mana 2/2 flying haste with a fire breathing effect. So this is 3 mana to give it +2/0 till end of turn. This one has the luxury of escape, so we can cast it from our graveyard by exiling 3 other cards. We have a lot of cheap creatures, so it's easy to come back. And when it comes back as a 3/3. Light Up the Stage is a very good card in these strategies. Basically, ends up being a 1-mana, exile the top 2 cards of your library till your next turn you get to cast them. Slaying Fire is something we're just playing instead of Bone Crusher Giants. If you have Bone Crusher Giants, play those. And then this is basically in this deck, it deals 4 damage for 3 mana. So it's a nice burn spell there. Torbran, the grumpy old troll, dwarf. Basically 4 mana. If a red source would deal damage, it deals that much damage +2. So it's kind of a damage echoer in a case to deal more damage. And then Embercleaves. This is a way, you have a lot of 1-drops. So you can cheat this in and have your creatures deal double strike and have more power. It's a nice way to kind of surprise, close out your opponent. Obviously not as impactful when you're not throwing it on a Rotting Regisaur and hitting them for 16, but it is a way around that. 22 lands because our curves are pretty low. Most of these decks, we want to actually see. 22 might be too many lands. Exile Graveyards for the sideboards, deals with artifacts. Fry is to deal with like blue or white stuff, the white aggro decks. This pretty much kills everything there. Lava Coil versus the creature decks. Tibalt versus the mono white life gain deck. We don't want to see white life gains, so it shuts it off. And then Angraths are basically a budget planeswalker. It gives our creatures menace. They can't be blocked by a single creature, and it creates some zombies as well. If you have 3 mana Chandra or Experimental Frenzy, those are things you'd want in your sideboard. Probably 2 to 3 Experimental Frenzies in the sideboard. Those come in against the more grindy matchups where you need card advantage. So like I said, because we are at 918, I don't want to play this on the rank ladder right now. So we'll play traditional play. We'll play probably 1 best of 3 and then a couple best of 1s just to get a feel for the deck. And then we'll go from there. So as we get started, if you are enjoying the content, catching this on YouTube, if you can, drop a like or a subscribe. Both are free and easy ways to help support out the channel. If you drop a comment on the video, it just helps out on that case. And if you want to know when we go live, the easiest way is to just hit that follow button on Twitch. It's free, it's easy, it helps out. So we let off with the Scorch Spitter here. The reason being, this has haste so it could come down later, and then this has pseudo unblockable so it could get around creatures. So this is more likely to get in early. Okay, so they have the shock for Steam-Kin. Looks like we're playing a mirror potentially. So don't particularly want to... Hey Quantum, how's it going? Because we don't have... Oh, you know what? I screwed that up. We had an extra point of damage here. So I'm not really a red mage, if you want to call it that. I don't usually play like balls to the wall aggro. I think so this is a good demo of basically what you use Steam-Kin for. Kind of just spew out a whole bunch of cards. Play it out. We're probably if we don't hit a land, we need to use this Slaying Fire on the Torbran. So we're probably in defense mode here. But I think we lost this one already. And this is a good demo. You stumble at all against mono red, you die. So with the trigger on the stack, we're going to kill Torbran so they don't get the extra Scorch Spitter abilities. Jeez, they got Embercleave. Oh. Well played, well played. So punished for not doing that pre-combat. So the Lava Coils will come in. Do we want the Shieldbreakers as a mirror? I think we're okay. Rimrocks could probably come out. I like the Anax. They block well. Probably get rid of these. They don't seem that efficient. We don't want to use them to kill the small stuff. I think we just run it back like that. Lava Coil's in. Nice clean. So this will be a best of 3 match in under 10 minutes. If you want all your games to end quick, you usually know if you win or lose quite quickly with this deck. One lander, but keeping a one lander with this deck is not the worst. We effectively have for sure 3 plays, potentially a 4th. This could be a shock. Do we want to go light up the stage? Light up the stage can guarantee pretty much that we hit a land for Phoenix of Ash. Okay, so No Cavalcades in this one. This one's a little bit bigger build. I want to play with Phoenix of Ash. Most of the builds have shifted away from Cavalcade. This having a lot of redundancy helps. So we're just going to use the shock here. So this match, we saw the opponent didn't have a 1-drop on 1. You can build like super budget with Cavalcade, and then you're tweaking it a bit. Usually, they usually do play some number of Torbrans. I do think it's worth getting this off the battlefield. Opponent's been missing some line drops, and that's a way they can catch up fairly quickly. And then we have Phoenix, and then Phoenix can even come back if it dies. These trade in combat. Yeah, I think they forgot about the first strike there. I think we run it back. There is a question as to... These are pretty good. Maybe we shave like that? Like, Steam-Kin seems kind of bad, actually. Because, like, they have shocks. We're on the play, or we're on the draw, so it's less likely we can build it up as fast as they can. Because if we're playing that on 2, they're usually pretty far ahead on their next turn. Is this non-token? Yeah. We're going to go Grim Initiate into Anax. If these die, we get multiple tokens. Okay, so they have a Steam-Kin. A Shock would be great here. Yeah, and that's something I wanted to see. 22 lands is a little high for this type of strategy. But like we kept a 1-lander last game and we were struggling to hit lands. Okay, so they have the Anax themselves. Yeah, now we're flooding. Hey Monkey. I'm actually probably going to do a Black-White Aristocrats deck probably as my next stream. I'm just trying to finish up this budget series here. Do we triple block here? That's probably Embercleave though. That's tricky. So they have the Embercleave. We're at 5. Does Torbran do enough? Gotcha. Hey Flash Harry. You can post it in the chat. If you have an extra one, I can always post it on the YouTube as well. There's a couple ways we can give it away. But if not, even just Reddit's the best place. There's usually threads. People always exchange as well if they have other pre-release codes or other codes from Arena. It's a good way to share. So took down mono red there. A nice little back and forth. We'll run it through another best of 1. Let me just give Arena a quick reset. It's been a little temperamental today, so I don't want it crashing halfway through. Trying to see. Thanks for posting. So we're trying to see if we can hold out. 916. We actually went up in terms of rank. Oh, I've been playing more of this Hush Titan list. I've been tweaking it up a bit. I'm going to update the deck list on Aether Hub. Yeah, even when Wizards gave me those 100 codes, I was handing them out all over the place. It's tough when it's one per account, and then you're just giving them. The Hush Titan one, Quantum. Is that the one you're asking about? We played it the other day on stream. Keep this hand. Scorch Spitter on one, light up the stage, shock. So it's the one we played yesterday. You play Hushbringer and Kroxa and Clankbridge Troll to turn off their ETBs so Kroxa doesn't get sacrificed. And then Hushbringer doesn't give the goats. So your opponent can't tap it down. I tweaked it up a bit though, made it a little bit more resilient. And it's been a lot better since. We were playing some games. It's funny, I kept getting paired to the Mirror. Or like the Grixis version, so opponent had their own Kroxas. I'll show you the list after this game. I'm gonna update the Aether Hub. So someone played it at the Aether Hub tournament on the weekend, Mdrazi. So I tweaked their list a bit. I didn't understand their sideboard choices, so it's hard to play someone else's list there. So this can be, because if they have to ferry, it's unfortunate Torbran came down then. I think I'm just going to go maximum damage here. Because I figure if they have to ferry, if this is probably Doom Foretold. This might just be the black-white version. The nice thing is this still gets in damage without. I had a really close, just before I came to stream, I was playing my Esper Doom Foretold in best of one. And like I just top decked the 4-mana board wipe just in time, and then it was just this weird game of back and forth, them flooding, me just flooding, and it was tense. I don't like ladder ranking when you're this close to the end of the season. One loss moves you like 500 or like 100, 200 spots. This is an interesting attack because like I can go for Elspeth. Can also just go to the face, because if they block, because you just gain life, right? So let's do this because I don't want more tokens. Because I also have surprise 4 damage that might just help. And then we get the token from here anyways. So I'm not too worried here, because even if they board wipe, I have enough to get this back from the graveyard, and this makes a bunch of tokens. Othakaya. That's unfortunate. Still get the satyrs. Getting a little flooded here. So they can block 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Takes them to 5, so we're 1 off lethal this turn. Let's just pump. This way they're dead on our upkeep. Another Othakai keeps them alive, but yeah. So this is Black-White Doom. I'm going to bring in the Tibalts. And Elspeth looks to be their win condition, so maybe... we bring this in, but I probably don't want to dirtle that much. I just want this to shut off the life gain. Rimrock Knight seems kind of bad. Maybe just shave a Steam-Kin. They have a lot of direct... what did we see that game? Melides, and that's pretty much it. No, because it enters a battlefield, it deals damage. I don't think they gain the life. Let's just cut a Steam-Kin. We're on the play. Yeah. Because it enters a battlefield, it deals the damage. I might. I don't know that one. I haven't played mono red in forever. We don't need this many shocks. It's a weird timing thing because it checks on resolution, it deals the damage, and I think because part of the life gain, like part of the effect, if they're using Devout Decree there, then I'm okay. Next turn we can get this up to 3 power. Yeah, this is what I'm a little worried about. They're just going to grind us. So this is a matchup where if you have Experimental Frenzy, it helps a lot. But they've basically controlled our board so that if they get Doom Foretold here, then we don't really come back from it. Yeah. Like I said, mono red's quick. You know, if you lost, they're won. So the reason we conceded there is because we're not really going to get like under them. I may actually want Angraths here. Just because this is a Doom Foretold list, so our creatures will survive the Doom Foretold. Like we have the token elements of it, so that stays around. They probably took out the 3 mana. Yeah, we can't keep this hand. Okay, this hand's much better. Let's get rid of Shock. Seems the least useful. And we're just going to go as aggressive as possible here. Next turn, Tin Street, and light up the stage. Hopefully hit a land. Perfect. So we're not going to be able to cast the Scorch Spitter. But I'm not too worried about that because I'd rather get Anax down. Get another light up the stage, so maybe we... because then that gets them to play around Othakaya. Because they might just be inclined to like Othakaya the Scorch Spitter. So this card will make them take at least a point of damage. So even if they Doom Foretold, they take some damage there. Okay, so here I could Embercleave for 3 and then also have the Shock. But I think we just do Anax. Regardless, they're just going to block one. Doesn't matter which one, so no sense making it unblockable. Part of the reason here is because if they board wipe this turn, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Treacherous Blessing. Okay, so these Devout Decrees are a bit of a pain. That's when we want it to be a little bit stickier on board. So we're just gonna Embercleave whatever they don't block. Or do I take this off the battlefield? No, I think we just maximize the amount of damage. Because each spell they cast now ends up costing them more life. Just gonna hold this land. Pretend like we have a spell. So that's the second black if they're playing Kaya's Wrath. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. And this is basically what this deck does. The opponent stumbled on the second black mana most likely, and we still were able to get through. Mire's Grasp. What's the price here? You get a mythic reward. And so let's play a best of one, and then we'll oh here Quantum, this is the deck I was talking about, the Hush Titan list. So I added Mire Titan in. So it's kind of a, like when Hushbringer's out you don't get the self mill, but early it allows you to fill your yard for Cruxa to get back, and then it does have Death Touch, which trades well to fill the graveyard. Card draw with Stormfist. Put in an Erebos because you have these die a lot. So Cruxa could trigger off Erebos and then you draw a card, and then you kind of just Embercleave out your opponent. It's a pretty fun list. I'll play a game of it after this mono red one. Yeah, there was Hushbringer, and the Giant was around last standard, but I think it's a lot better now that you have two really powerful effects that you can abuse. The only thing is, like, against Uro, it also makes Uro better because they don't have to sack it, so it's situationally good. It does also just like stop most of the we are drawing way too many lands. A lot of Simic, because it's ETB, like Simic Flash, they can't counter anything. Risen Reef gets shut off. Cavalier. Okay, so they... You know what? They lost 4 life to take out our 2 1/1s. Like, it's not as good, obviously, because they're not red anymore for Torbran. So I'm doing this, I'm going to play this before we play a land in case we hit one. We want to play the one... Oh man, the top of our deck was just literally all lands. Okay, so they have Rider and Smitty. Okay, so we get Steam-Kin. Like, Torbran's better, but I think I want to protect. Unless we just try to set up Embercleave next turn. See how they block here. So cleared their board. So trying to avoid another Murderous Rider here. Of note, if they decline to cast one half of Adventure, it puts the card into the graveyard. So they would have to cast it twice for him to keep it. So like here, because they couldn't cast it twice, they lose the Order of Midnight. So this is a case where Murderous Rider's shuffle effect does have an actual impact. So we'll just go Steam-Kin, Steam-Kin. Might have not made sense to attack with the other zombie there. It was a free block for them to gain some life. But even against this deck that's a life gain deck, we're able to punish them a bit. So here they can gain some life back. So yeah, it was definitely a misplay there. So here I'm just gonna cast this just to put counters on these so they get bigger. We're gonna keep the original. And they're dead. So perfect winning record with mono red. It is a deck that's come up in popularity. So this budget version can take it from there. I'll play a game with, let me just reset Arena really quick. I don't want it to crash. Is it still been, for chat, have you still had issues with disconnects and stuff from Arena? I keep getting the odd ones here and there, and then it's seizing up. So let's play Hushbringer. So I have two lists. Let me know. So I could play the Hushbringer one, or this one's kind of a brew I've had. It's a Fires of Invention Jund list with like Klothys and Kroxa. So a whole bunch of discard. You play like Cindervines, Underworld Dreams. I think the other one's more fun. I can play this one as a separate, because we've played Hush Titan already as a video. And then Quantum, I don't think it actually matters what your laptop is, to be honest. My laptop's an i7 and my desktop's an i7, and like both of them run issues with Arena. I think it's just a bad decline itself. It's good news though, they got that dev company in to work on some new stuff. So hopefully we get some expedited builds. They fix the memory leak and stuff. No black mana, but we got a bunch of plays early. I think one of the issues with Arena is the way it's coded. It's only 32-bit, so it can only utilize up to 4 gigs of RAM, despite how much RAM you have. I think I was reading about that somewhere. So matchup where we're going to be the aggressor. Really want to land here. Okay, you know, this is best of one. It doesn't matter for it. Let's just play a game where we can actually play the deck. Especially against blue-white control. That game's not ending anytime quick, so no sense to waste a bunch of time on that. Okay, so sounds pretty good. The one thing, our mana base is pretty painful. So against mono red, we're probably going to get punked a bit. And they go Rimrock as well. Follow up, light up the stage. That's actually a very good draw for us because we don't take the damage and we gain 2 life off Mire Trident. Yeah, I'm not sure the logic in doing so. So we probably go tap land here and then just get rid of I think we just Scorching Dragonfire this before combat so they can't Embercleave. Oh, if I ever saw a target to Scorching Dragonfire, that would be one. Because next turn I could Hushbringer and then block the Scorch Spitter. No, I'm going to shock here. It's a little dangerous, but I want access to the Bone Crusher. Because now I might just go defensive Murderous Rider, to be honest. Try to gain some life back. What do you do? When you die, you deal 2 damage. So land would have been good. I think we just play this out. This is actually a card we should have been playing in our budget brew. So when it dies, deals 2 damage, target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. So maybe not. I'll just block here. This forces them to use the Bone Crusher. I think we just do... We do this. Erebos is not... This isn't the matchup for Erebos. I think we just keep trading 1 for 1. How many cards we have in our grave? So we don't have to get this back the following turn, but we're dead to like Bone Crusher, so we just have to go defensive here. Keep taking trades. And geez, another one. Okay, so what I have to do here is shock. So one important thing, you want to do this post-combat if you don't plan on attacking with it. So that way they can't tap down our troll. Is this just red creatures or all creatures? Oh, we're dead. So they could just anthem their the goats if they see the play. Yeah. So we ended up giving them lethal, but we were dead anyways. Missed the land drop too many turns. It's not really the Erebos matchup. We'll run this one more, and then what I'm going to do is just cut this video, and I'll just switch the stream over, and then we'll try some Jund fires with Klothys. Sounds cool. Shadow Spear's been kind of cool as a one-off. The lifelink's been relevant. with our big beaters. Pretty much just giving something lifelink. The trample in our deck, most of our big things have trample. Come on, scry away. Let me change. Yeah, I'll change the title after when we switch videos. So just lead on Shadow Sphere. Could be a couple things with Temple, could be aggro, could be fires, but we haven't really seen much fires. Double Temple of Triumph. This equips for 2. So next turn I'm probably going to Mire Trident and then Temple of Triumph. I haven't played it, Jeskai Cavalier, in quite some time, so can't comment with certainty how good it still is. Like, it still has combo kills. There goes. We literally bin our combo. Kind of want Croxa. I think that's fine. Because next turn I can shock equip one of these to give it lifelink. I think it actually probably is a little bit better because you can go Shatter the Sky now on 4 with fires, which was one of the big points where you can just die before. Okay, they Sphinx. What are the chances they trade with one of these? Let's just get this out of the way. We're not winning this long game. Now they drop Red Cavalier and Kenrith and just wipe us. Okay, so we got Blue Cavalier. So the cool thing is if you Bone Crusher, then Scorching Dragonfire, it exiles this, so it doesn't get the shuffle effect. So they did the correct thing. They brainstormed before cracking the fetch, so you can put back the cards you don't want. So if opponent, say, has an extra Fires of Invention or some extra lands, they can shuffle them away. The one thing that's really annoying is this stupid lose hexproof and indestructible. It always triggers. So honestly, could have been a worse turn. And here, if they want, they have to trade one away. Obviously, if they have Clarion, we're just dead. Oh. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to wrap this one up, this video. Give me like 2 minutes. I'm going to cut this stream and I'll be right back. And then we'll play some Jund Fire Clothis as a quick one. So we'll play out this brew that I've been working on. Where is it? The Pain Train. So a bunch of all the tax effects. So give me like 2 minutes and I'll be right back. And then we'll go from there.